Welcome to the first actual 3-Minute Thursday. Today we're going to go over this. This is my stick, my staff. It's what I part the Red Sea with. This right here is what keeps me from sliding off mountains when I go off trail. Notice it has a hook in the end. It's to help pick up rattlesnakes and whatnot on the trail. Flipping rocks, looking for scorpions and so forth. So, I'm going to show you how to make one of these things. 3 minutes, let's go. Alright, these are all the things that I'm going to use to make my stick, my staff. Don't know what to call it, walking stick, hiking stick. And honestly, it's going to cost you like 11 bucks, 12, 15 bucks tops. Rather than $40 or $50 what it would cost you to buy a quality snake stick on Amazon, for example. This, not necessarily necessary. All I'm going to use it to do is to buffer the 2x4 so I don't scuff up my sister's new table. Anyway, so I set that there. I'm going to use some clamps to hold it down. We'll be right back with the clamps. There's one. There's the other. 2 clamps. Alright, next thing you need is some kind of hacksaw. You can get these at the dollar store. This one, like $10. Got it from Ace Hardware. You might need a hammer, just a small one. And you might need a drill. Probably. You'll need a piece of steel. This one was $3. It's 3 feet long, overkill, and 3/16 inch. The next thing is the actual staff. This is a rake handle. We're going to cut this silver tip piece off because we don't need this section right here. So let's get to it. Step number 1 is to cut off this tip. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight, you just want to get it off. That's where the hacksaw comes into play because it's pretty tough wood. Alright, now that the end is off, step number 2 is we're going to find the center as best we can. It doesn't have to be perfect, and we're going to drill a hole in there. Lock it down in a vise and cut us a notch. Now you're going to want to cut into here about 2 inches. There we go, we got our cross. Now we're going to insert the metal rod. Slide it down there as far as it'll go, and then tap it with the hammer on the other end. And there we go, it's in there. It's in there a lot better than that though. So, epoxy cement. Alright, now we are going to take the epoxy cement. Did I mention we need epoxy cement? You need epoxy cement. And something to stir it with, like an old screwdriver. Squeeze a healthy amount onto the surface. Once you've mixed it up, get some on the rod, insert it back into its hole. And just like before, give it a few taps with the hammer. Make sure it's in there good and strong. You just want to goop this stuff all over here. And for this step, I'm also going to stick it vertical so that the glue seeps down into the cracks further. One way to help get the glue down, bang the end on the ground like so. But there you go, we're going to let this dry for 24 hours and we'll come right back tomorrow. So you see the rod, it ends right here. It's about 6 inches long. You don't want it a whole lot longer than that, but it's actually just personal preference. Overnight, this is going to settle down. In the morning, it's not going out. It'll be in there rock solid. So there you go. We've got the glue in there. We're going to give it 24 hours to settle. Tomorrow we will sand it because this varnish is no good except to give blisters. And then we'll bend the tip into the rod into a hook. There you go. See you tomorrow. Alright, here we are the next day. As you can see, it is hardened up. It's hardened up nicely. And now all we need to do is to bend the hook like we got on the old one. What we're going to do is anchor the steel and bend it by applying force to the steel rather than to the wooden shaft. If you're finding that your metal shaft won't stay into your wooden shaft, take it out, slide it right out of there, if it'll slide, and score it. What I mean by that is scuff it up with a hacksaw and put little grooves in it. Don't cut very deep, just enough for the epoxy cement to set into to give it some purchase. Alright, once you get it in there, get to about this point, it's kind of personal preference on how you want your hook. I like mine to be more of a hook shape because this will grab onto rocks and I can flip them over a little bit easier. So there you go, that's how I made my staff with the hook on the end. Took me, not including the time for the epoxy cement to cure, it took me like an hour while recording. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Hit that like button, sub if you'd like, and we'll see you in the next one.